Hello, my name's Jim Petersen. We live here in Florida, and I'm going to give you my testimony of when I became a Christian. I believe the year was 1994, and I was I'd say an agnostic. I didn't really have any beliefs that I followed or anything other than science and what I thought. But my wife was always a believer, and one night she got upset with me because I didn't believe, and she said, "Well, who do you think's been looking after you?" And she threw a hamburger at me at the dinner table. So, so I had to. I said to myself, I read a lot. You know, if how do you discuss the Bible or what you believe if you haven't ever read the book? So I decided I would read the book, and I used to work offshore on a ship, so I had a lot of time to read. And I was a crane operator in a big crane, and I'd sit up in there all by myself. And so we went to an Awanas. It was a kids thing that our kids went to for Christian learning and something to do for them in our small town. And just so happens, as we were there, the pastor says, "Do you have a Bible?" And I said, "No, I don't." He said, "Well, let me give you the Pew Bible." So he pulled out an NIV version of the Pew Bible and gave it to me. And I go, "That's a coincidence. I just started thinking I'd read the Bible, and now the pastor gives me a Bible." So I said, "Okay." And I took that with me offshore when I left, and I started reading the Bible, and I started reading it like I read any book from the start to the finish, and I was in. It was difficult though, there's a lot of history and things you don't understand, and I'm up in my crane on my own, and I'm reading through it. And I'm going through Kings. I happened to be in the book of Kings at the time, and I had a shortwave radio in my crane. I don't know if you know what those are like, but they're, the channels are very. Anyway, I listened to Voice America, turned the radio on, and it happened to be on Voice America. And there's another operator, could have been any channel, and it was Chuck Swindoll, the pastor Chuck Swindoll, and he was doing a study, and it was 66 books of the Bible, and they were on Kings. And I thought, this is really a coincidence, what's going on here? And every day so I started tuning in, and they were telling me the history behind it, which it was very good to help me learn the Bible. And I did that every day, and tuned in when his show came on. And we were in Thailand, I think at the time, offshore of Thailand. And so anyway, my hitch ended a couple of months out there, and then I came home, and I brought the Bible home with me. And I told Louise, it was interesting. I was really enjoying it and going through it with Chuck Swindoll, and he's giving me background. So my father, was a non-believer, also said, I went down to see him, and this when the computers were just coming out. It might have been earlier than that. It might have been 80 something. Anyway, he says, I have this Bible program that my computer friend has. Would you like it? And it was like, I said, well, yeah, interesting. Now my father's telling me this. So I said, yeah, I'll get it loaded on my computer. And it was a Bible program. And so I did. And I went off. Then when I left to go offshore, again, I wanted to bring my Bible, but I forgot it. That's how I wasn't really. But I was upset because I was getting through the Bible, and it was interesting, and I wanted to continue that. And then I thought to myself, oh, my father's given me that Bible program. So I'm dyslexic, so I read slow anyway. But my father says, or I wanted to go up to the crane. I go, I forgot my Bible. I was upset, but I thought, oh, my father gave me that program of the Bible. So I just went in there and typed in Luke because I could spell it. And it went into Luke, and I printed out a couple of chapters, so I could read it during the day. And we happened to be in another country at that time, so all the time difference was different. And there's been another crane operator up there tuning this radio so it could be on anything. And I turned the radio on again, and it was Chuck Swindoll, and they were doing a study of Luke, same chapter and verse that I had printed out. And I thought, it's a little more than just a coincidence. All these things adding up. I said, something's going on here, and Chuck Swindoll always had a call to salvation after his show. So I went up in a crane and went in the back of the crane after that day, and I prayed the prayer of salvation and forgiveness, and I had an experience, a physical experience, that it was just the weight of the world was lifted off my back. All the worries of financial and everything that I had been worried about just seemed, because I gave my life to Jesus. And I didn't even know at this time, because I was not a Christian, I didn't even know what it was. But later, I was on fire for Christ for quite a while after that. And I learned it was the Holy Spirit coming into me. And I didn't know that. I knew there was a physical change. There was something that had changed in me. And that's, anyway, so I've always believed since then, and I, did my best to learn. Can't say I've been perfect. I'm not a perfect guy. I've messed up, in my life here and there, but always believed in God since then. Thank God for that hamburger coming across the table. That's my testimony.